Our next artist that we're going to be speaking with, Miss Masa Fofana. Masa is the first artist that I ever worked with in New York. She came and displayed her art at a birthday party of mine a few years ago, and that birthday party I now regard as my first art event. And here she is. Hopefully the Wi-Fi is strong. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
You know, just
Hey,
doing heart talk. What's up with you?
hey. I'm good. I'm good. Sketching. I was painting a little earlier, just signed out of class a little while ago
Hmm.
and came to see Darnell. So,
Yeah,
yeah, that's it.
he's so sweet. I don't. Let me see if Donnell is still there because I gotta tell him something real quick.
Huh?
I'm seeing if Donnell is still in here. Oh no, I had someone watch the other day on support.
Oh no, I know he was busy.
Well, so are you. So, um, painting, sketching, and you just got done with doing a class with the kids. All right,
Yeah,
so let's just
yeah.
jump right into it, guys. This is Masa Fofana. She's a painter, an educator, a Brooklynite, a designer. She's been a fashion line in Barney's back in the 80s. She's been doing the work for a long, long time. So, um,
Yeah.
tell us about your style of work. I'm going to pull up,
Um,
but I love the way you
sure.
describe it. So, tell us about your work.
My work is mostly like it's mostly centered on the divine feminine
Mm-hmm.
and womanism because I'm not into feminism. Only because it like originally it wasn't like we were not included in the factor,
Mm-hmm.
and it was basically a construct because they were so disrespected by their own men, and we wasn't disrespected like that. We came from like a line of just queens, like we had women that ruled kingdoms and all this other and very important women in our history, and even down to my own great grandmother who was a chief in Monrovia in Liberia. She passed away in 1970.
Mm.
And you know sometimes your ancestors, they just kind of talk to you. And before it was like, I mean, I still do work like that. It was centered around like sexuality, and but it, I'm a Marvin Gaye listener, so um so a lot of it is sexuality and spirituality, and it's just like two concepts that are not always associated, but they are it it actually do go together.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sexuality is a spiritual thing, and you have to be so free within yourself, like, to act in that way, to be that and to be comfortable in it also.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of my work is more centered on, you know, the divine feminine, the confidence in your sexuality, confidence in your womanism, and just all around confidence in your femininity,
Mm-hmm.
and especially like in all our stages, in all our stages, because I'm a little long in the tooth. So, we in my case, I'm in that demographic that's kind of forgotten about. It's like I'm not a spring chicken, but I'm not an old lady either, and we just kind of get a little lost in the shuffle because it's like there's really no way to like there's really no box to put us in. And especially nowadays, like when my mom was my age, she was already over the hill.
Mm.
She already took care of all of us and all this other stuff. And like now, like I still party, I still hang out, I still do stuff, I still get drunk. It's like, it's like I do a lot of things that most people would consider what young girls do. And I still have a life. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I'm still I date, I do all that stuff. So it's like, we don't really get we're usually um a lot of like these type of things are not associated with us,
Mm-hmm.
you know so that's what my work is more centered around,
Mm-hmm.
just like that, this other type of freedom that you have when you get a little bit older, you know
Yeah, I remember you
yeah.
telling me when I turned 30 last year, you were like, you are gonna love your 30s. You're like, 30s is where you said you found a lot of your liberation.
It was.
Yeah. So tell us
It
about
was.
that, because I'm gonna give you guys a piece of art that Masa actually had up at my birthday of last year.
Yeah, last year, and I think
Yeah.
I had, yeah,
I
I
think
also did the year before
I think
also.
the
Yeah,
my
that was
favorite
last
part of the
year.
night is that this was one of a few pieces that were up. Oh, was this up that night? Or
Yeah,
yes, it was.
yeah,
But
yeah, last year.
throughout the night, I would hear people asking Mas about her work, and Mas be like, "Yeah, that's my ass." Like I
That's my ass.
own frame of reference. So
Yes, I did like two paintings of my behind,
mhm.
like, but that was me, like, I was just feeling myself, It's like
As
I'm
you
loving
should.
all my little dents, my little, you know, whatever, little bit of, cellulite. It's like, this is nice.
It is
This
nice.
is cute.
So about, I mean, you you have a family, you were served in the military, then you really
Four
turned your
years.
art after that, and part of that process is also kind of stepping into the BDSM world and how that comes into your art. So tell us about that transition, what that was like. Yeah, and how it
Um,
plays into your work.
it was really through a model that I was working with, and she was a dominatrix, and she just like kind of just like kind of like I hate when my phone does that. It's like, let me um it was just like, you know, she just invited us. So, it was me and one of my best friends. So I was like, hell yeah, like you see it on TV, you see it on real sex or whatever. And just to kind of like be in that, it was like I saw how liberated everyone was, and it was more psychological than it was sexual. And even though sex is involved in it, and I didn't see anything crazy going on. It was just like pure liberation and a lot of trust,
Mm.
because it was suspension. It was so much trust to like um it takes a lot in you to trust someone to tie you up and have you in bondage, and even to like flog you or just spank you or whatever. And like it it's like an unspoken communication. I thought was so intriguing, you know and without really saying much. And I just thought it was just crazy. And it was no judgment or anything like that. I just thought it was just awesome.
Mhm.
So like I did it for about 14, 15 years, something like that.
Yeah.
I think my last party I went to was probably like last year sometime, you know. And even when my kids were, they were all like high school or something like that. So yeah, I told them exactly what I did. I was like, yo, it was so much
I
fun.
remember you
That
telling
you
me.
going to your little freak nasty parties? Like, yep, don't wait up. You
Yeah.
know? so, so they was just like, yo, mom. And then I end up using it in my art, and it was so liberating. Like everything I felt, I just kind of put it on canvas and everything. And it really got me to thinking about my own comfortability in my skin. Like everyone else was so comfortable, and it didn't care whether they were big, small, flat boobied, big boobied. It didn't matter. Even the men, it was like so many leather drawers. It was wild. And I really, really like admired. Like to me, that was like such bravery. And I was like in my like early 30s, like when like no late my mid to late 30s when it happened. So it was like, oh my God, this shit is really, really cool.
Yeah.
So it's just been ever since.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we think about liberation and working with the divine feminine, one of the things I love about your work is how you stay within the color palette of the chakras, pinks and purples and oranges. And this kind of transitions to your work with at Red Hook Art Project, your work with Boys and Girls Club.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
tell us what you're working on with the kids and what your vision is.
I'm working with this awesome sister. Her name is Tiffany Davis, and we met like 5 years ago. We literally met at a VIM. We was like looking at shoes and sneakers and stuff, and she asked me you know. And then I was like, oh, well, I think this goes good. And I told her I was an artist, you know, I'm an artist. So she was like, oh, really? I like, and just universe would have it, she's the director at the Red Hook Art Project. So I've been volunteering there for the past, I say, 4.5 years, because I just started being a teaching artist, and like I wasn't too sure like how to do it, and I didn't want to go and start volunteering like half-assed. So I gave it about half the year. That's the cat. Gave it about half a year, and then I said, okay, kind of figure it out. I want to volunteer, and I've been with them like ever since. So now, this summer I'm doing my very first like arts workshop. It's called the Goddess Project, and this is like the initial is just for the Red Hook Art Project. But what I would love to do is kind of like expand it into like you know, like doing it every few weeks with like different schools with young girls. And it's mainly for young girls that's, you know, more, a little bit more esoteric. Like they're into, well, I really realized that a lot of young girls are more into like a higher sense of spirituality and what, you know, alternative
Right.
sense of spirituality and, you know, everything. So it was like, you know, they're into the chakras, they're into moon phases, you know, they're all about being a witch now. So I was like, oh, that's cool. And because I was that type of girl also. And a lot of them are not into Christianity. And it's just that it, you know, because a lot of them are black and brown girls, you know, we're told Christianity is the way. And it's like, it didn't sit well with them, just like it didn't with me when I was like 15, 16 years old, and maybe even younger than that. And so it's just like art projects that kind of like boost their self-esteem in their um uh, what's the word, like, you know, let them be comfortable in their own skin,
Yeah.
you know, being how they are, who they are, and just knowing that spiritually they will grow. And I love when young people have like this sense of spirituality so young, because it kind of keeps them in line. And not, you know, it's like you want to avoid doing stupid stuff, but you're inclined to do stupid stuff because you're a teenager, you know. But it's like they learn from their mistakes. They just like, okay, you know what, my vibe just told me, or my chakras are like, you know. And I love to hear young kids like talk this way. It's like really cool. So my art project is more centered around that, and building their self-esteem, and you know, having them think more. Like I'm going to teach them how to make their own oracle cards, um
Cool.
to kind of give like a little positive um feedback from the universe on their terms, you know. Paint, you know, how do you see, like, what kind of goddess do you see yourself as? How would you design your own halo? And it's like, it's kind of abstracted, but it's like, oh wow, like I never thought of having a halo that's shaped like whatever, you know. And you know, it's more based on stuff like that. So I have like it's going to be 7 weeks, and what I would love to do is go on another 7 weeks. I'm trying to get more sponsors,
Yeah.
more um uh you know, more sponsors, more donations, stuff like that. And eventually more kids that's more like, you know, because from what I heard, I couldn't even get all the kids that actually signed up for it.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, all right. I didn't think it would be that interesting, and even adults want to take
Oh,
it. So
yeah.
I'm very open to doing it with
Ooh,
adults also.
that
Like
is such
it's like a
a good
sisterhood.
idea.
Yeah, making it like a sisterhood. There's a lot of us women that, you know, they're not so sure either. It's like they, you know, all the constructs of what they were taught before is now falling apart in front of them now, and they're in their 30s and 40s and 50s even. So, you know, when Tiffany told me that some of the moms were interested, I was like, you know what? Why not? I'm open to it.
That's awesome.
So, dang.
Yeah. Have you considered even being a workshop where like a mother and a daughter pair can come together?
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mommy and me's. I love mommy and me's. Let them create and learn and grow together. I love it. I mean, I do it with my own grandkids. Like
Yeah.
I usually take my granddaughters, Madison, Queen, and Jordan, to the art center on weekends. So, just for them, their parents are not into art like that, but thank goodness for grandkids, because like they just really remind me of myself, like that they have like this freedom about themselves, and they're so unapologetically them. It's really refreshing,
Yeah.
So when I realize sometimes they paint with me in here, sometimes they go with me to the art center, and they just like, oh, I want to paint a galaxy. I'm like, all right, cool, like do your galaxy, kid. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's really refreshing,
Yeah.
and it gives me more life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what it would have been like if we'd had programs like that when we were kids.
Man, I think I would have been so. I don't think I would go through half of the growing pains I would have had to go through when I was a teenager. You know, I think I would have been a lot more secure in myself. I mean, like every girl, I had self-esteem issues, because I grew up in Flatbush, Brooklyn, and at that time it wasn't like a lot of Caribbean. My mom is Trinidadian, my father's Liberian, West African. It wasn't a whole lot of us out here in Vanderveer at the time. And we got the whole African booty scratcher thing, the coconut thing, and all this other stuff. And then, to them, I dressed weird. I was a punk rock kid, house music kid. I was into everything, and sometimes kids at that age wants to put you in a box, and they can't put you in a box. So it's like all they can do is just like make fun of it. And it just gotten to the point that I didn't really care anymore. It was like I was so used to, I was so immune to it after a while, and I just had to be comfortable in that. And then when I started going to FIT in high school, I started seeing other girls just like myself, and it was like I thought it was just me. And of course, I had one of my childhood friends that lived like behind my building. And, she was the same way. She was into YouTube. She's an opera singer now, actually, in San Francisco, Shawnette. And still very close friends. And, you know, for everyone that makes fun of you, you're going to have like two or three that just accepts you exactly as you are. And that's what kind of kept me on course, So I'm grateful.
Yeah. Plus, what I found is like the people who made fun of me when I was in high school, like, have tried to date me now that I'm an adult. now that
I gotten that also. It's like, oh, yeah, I had that conversation just last week. I was like, man, bro, you should have caught me when I had no self-esteem and no standards. Like, you should have caught me then. Like, now, no.
Yeah. So it's the way you describe yourself. It did not surprise me that you and Don Okoro knew each other, and already you had already interacted. Those of you guys might have seen Don on heART Talk about a month ago, who has a punk noir.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, no, the audience. I know you were there.
At the art show, yeah.
There, but yeah, just especially as a Black woman who embraces what people consider alternate culture, you are even more judged. And now it's like Afropunk is a worldwide phenomenon. Now it's a cool thing, but people don't realize for a long time it was not. It was very much a radical movement.
I remember when it was at BAM. I remember it was at BAM. It only filled just the theater, like one theater at BAM in like 2003 or 4 or something like that. And it was really me surfing through the internet that I found out about Dawn's work. And when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, like her work is just beautiful. Yeah. So I've been following her progress like ever since then. So when we went to the show, I was totally fangirling. I was like, oh my God, I was fangirling like hard by. I try to be gangster about it, but on the inside, like she's amazing to me. Like she's an amazing artist, and I was totally inspired by, her conceptualities of like womanhood and all that stuff. Also, there's a few inspirations, but she also had a hand in that.
Yeah, people are really sleeping on Dawn, in my opinion, like mega.
Absolutely, for ages now, for ages. It's a shame. We're already underrepresented.
Right. And you and I talked a little bit about this. Is now there's such a focus on Black art and people wanting to support it and stand behind it who haven't been before. It's like now there's so many more eyes, so it's really important to kind of assess who is actually aligned and supporting of you as a person, and not just trying to use your work as a badge or as like a yes, I'm not just
yeah, that's why I like my stories, because sometimes you don't know whether you're going to get a Sada Shakur, Little Kim, Sister Soldier. You never know what you're going to get with me. I'm pretty reckless on my stories, but
yeah.
And I show when I paint, but I also show, like last night I was on a beer run, so I was just like, I'm so normal. Like, to me, I'm so normal and I'm so regular in some ways, So I don't like put all that stuff in the timeline. Just my work.
Yeah.
Like, I just want you to see what inspires my work. You know. So sometimes it's hanging out with the kids and even teaching. I'm a teaching artist at the Boys and Girls Club, Madison Square Boys and Girls Club, in Flatbush at the Murphy House, and I love them kids. Like, I love them to pieces. I love them to pieces. I love them to pieces every day. Miss Fo, Miss Fo, Miss Fo, and they're short for Fofana, and I've learned a lot being there. Like, as far as like learning how to start and I think through them, they gave me so much room to create, and also how to teach, because the way I teach is a little unorthodox, and I'm more focused on them being in the mind state of being an artist, and then the technicality.
Right.
Like, I don't really care about and I want them to discover their style, their voice, their everything themselves, So I don't really care much about, oh, I can't draw. Like, yes, you can.
Yeah.
I can't paint this. Yes, you can. Then find it. It doesn't have to be like this. It can be like whatever. Just trust your hand. And so I care more about the creative process more than the technical process. And I make them very comfortable in themselves. Like, so I'm happy about the work I'm able to do with them.
Yeah. I mean, you're not,
Yeah.
what I've noticed about you is you don't shy away from other people's energy. It actually energizes you. You very much know how to harness and then magnify someone else's energy. Whereas other teachers, those of you watching, I was a teacher, I was a dean for the last 8 years. So often the mistake adults make most of that is that they don't know how to translate a child's energy, and they want to control it or dead in it. And you don't do that with
exactly.
Yeah.
Not at all. Not at all. They're actually dope, and a lot of this stuff they inspire me to do too. So yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about this series, these drawings.
Yeah,
I love that.
It started off as a project with the kids, and then I just started doing a whole bunch of them. One of the first one I made it as like the centerpiece of the Goddess Project.
Okay.
And it's like the Earth Girl Goddess, and I wanted to show a little punk, a little culture, a little sassiness, a little spirituality.
Yeah, we can go through
because drinking sea moss. It kind of encompasses all these things, and I wanted to show like us in like different complexions. I did a few of them with freckles.
Yeah.
One with vitiligo. Some of them are like very dark skin, and all the chocolateness in between. And this is exactly how I am as a person myself. And there's so many of us. So I'm actually like pretty proud of even though they're a lot simpler than what I normally would do, but but I love them. It just has so much personality.
Well, that can be the hardest thing sometimes, is when you're used to do it. Like you do mixed media, you do photography, you're a painter, so it can be hard to pull back and get a little more minimal. But when we're thinking about people, that's why I love this you moving into these characters, because they look like people I know, but they also look like they could be coming from a whole other dimension.
Yeah,
Which
that's
kind of
exactly what I was aiming for.
honestly,
All right,
which is
I got
which
it.
is how you look, right? This
Yeah.
this is you. I mean, not this one in particular, but that's that same. I felt the same thing when I met you. When I was like, people have described you as ageless. They don't, energetic.
Yeah.
It's you have an ethereal quality about you, and I think that that's why I like
Oh, thank
this.
you.
Yeah, you
Thanks.
you incorporated a third eye here. Can you tell us why?
Um, I have a huge fascination with it. The second I started learning about chakras and the third eye theory and your pineal gland, and to me, it what makes you see, like really makes you see
Mm-hmm.
things, and it's guiding. It's guiding. Like I even tell my grandkids, like, okay, so what your third eye is telling you? You know what I mean? It's like yeah, I hear what your heart is saying, I hear what your head is saying, but what your third eye is saying,
Yep.
you know? And to me, it's such a stronger guiding force because sometimes it can combine the head and the heart, and sometimes it can just use just the heart, and sometimes they'll use just the eye and like collaborate with either or both and just guide you through, And I I don't know, I just have a huge fascination with it, and like like I said, like it wasn't it's not articulated. It's when you're young, and that's why I started the Goddess Project. It was like it's not articulated when you're young, but it's there. You just can't articulate it. And once I articulated it and learned about it, it was just like, okay, okay, I see.
Yeah.
I see. So it's just a huge fascination with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have about a minute left. So if anyone has any questions, I can take one question. But with that, Masa, any words?
I'm blind.
Yeah, what words would you like to leave those watching with who are here to support you?
Follow your third eye.
Mm.
And don't take yourself seriously. Um, just go. Just be free. I had a conversation with a relative. I put something, if it's not liberating you or something, I'm just paraphrasing, leave it, like it's wasting your time. And she was like, it doesn't make money, but that's part of the test. It's like the universe is going to ask you, do you want it bad enough?
Mm.
And if you want it bad enough, the universe is always, always, always going to provide. And spirituality is pretty limitless. Having limits is limiting.
Mm-hmm.
Logic is limiting. So don't, like, sometimes you can't just rely on logic at all. It's so limiting. So, why reach for the sky when you can like reach for the galaxy? So go there.
Awesome. Thank you. You're
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're so wonderful. And I have
Thank you. You are too. You bomb.
Yeah, well, we've been on this about each other for years.
Absolutely.
So,
It's my gallery buddy.
yeah, I miss our art dates, but soon come. But I'm gonna call you.
Yes.
I have an idea for Goddess Project. So, if you don't,
cool beans.
Yeah, if you don't already follow Masa, you can do so. Her Instagram is in the comment, Gaku_NYC. Check in. You'll learn more about Goddess Project, what she's up to with the kids, what she's up to with her art. So definitely check in there. And I will talk to you soon, Miss Masa Fofana.
Absolutely. Talk to you soon.
Yes.
I can't wait to hear your ideas.
Okay. It's a small one.
All right.
One. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. All right. Peace.
So that's it for today's Heart Talk. Next week, we are welcoming 2 guests. We're going to be focusing on musical production, Passport Rav and President Ella. And those of you who are still tuned in, like I said, tomorrow we are starting our children's garden at Phoenix. Jess, who is in the chat right now, Color Energy, is going to be helping me lead this project with the kids. We also now have our summer catalog ready, which you can see on alphaartslines.com. Check out collection. We have several pieces on hold here in Brooklyn. Any art piece that sells funds one of our current youth-led projects, which is either our mural project or our children's garden. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Tarek. Thank you, Anna. I hope you guys are all safe. I really have appreciated the support. It's been a fast few months. I didn't expect that we'd still be here 3 months later in a pandemic, but we are in something much, much bigger. And art definitely has an important role to play in that. And you guys are all part of that as well. So much love, and I will see you next week.